What's happening with memes these days? What are you guys even saying? Sigma, Ohio, Riz, Skibbity Toilet, jogging it. It's gone too far. There was a recent incident in the Guilty Gear community where, respectfully, someone made the worst post I've ever read, and the female singer of the game found it and was about to sing it for a bit of a chuckle, but she didn't know the true meaning behind these words. Then, when she found out, she said she felt sad because until then, she felt accepted in the community.
And I'm kind of sad because I was starting to really love the Guilty Gear community.
This epidemic has gone too far. It's ruining lives. It begs the question, are memes worse now? Yes, God, undoubtedly. Oh my God, Jesus Christ. Though, maybe like the nerd emoji redditor you are, you ask, were memes ever good? But that's a surprisingly complicated question. But first, what is a meme? A miserable pile of secrets. That joke, just in and of itself, was a meme. It is a compact nugget of trending culture, which gets remixed and recontextualized as it spreads. And while some memes can be giggled at sufficiently in its lonesome, usually the chuckles are induced by being in the know of the meme. The term meme was first coined by Richard Dawkins, but he was stupid and did it before the internet even existed, making the term completely useless until then. Fucking idiot. And memes, as I'm sure you know as a person who's most likely male in their 20s and from the United States. So real quick, can every non-binary person subscribe so that we can beat women? I mean, meme history is as old as the internet itself. They go hand in hand and reflect upon each other, even reflecting culture as a whole. It's unfortunate then that it's such an untapped media form in terms of analyzing. And it's untapped because there is a taboo in studying memes. It's akin to the dreaded explaining of jokes. Though those who frown on it are usually ones who fear people discovering the shitty ideals that dwell past the irony of their heart. And I am no giggle coward. I step into the chuckle abyss with pride. So, were memes ever good? To truly answer that, let's go back in time to the first meme to take Skibbity Toilet off the menu. That's right, we're going back in time. God, I want to fucking conduct self-detonation. Yet despite that, I'm still Rad Chad, the mad lad, and to some of you, your dad. Let's go back to vaguely where it all began. The year is 2002. I've just been born, which means I couldn't have done 9/11. Please stop asking. The internet looks vastly different compared to today. Instead of like 4 websites you visit where everyone is, everything's splintered into hundreds of different independently owned sites and forums. It was very much more of a Wild West, very anarchic. Instead of corporations, sites would be owned by hobbyists. Some sites catalogued more silly things, animations and such, like Newgrounds or Albino Black Sheep. And many of these were run without profit incentive, just the base human passion to make things and share with others. Because these sites were independently ran and were more close-knit, there was a stronger sense of community in them. And with well-defined community came in-jokes. The earliest memes were like inside jokes within a community, or connected between communities in a time where they were more separated. You see a dancing baby on your bagel-eating anonymous forum, then go to your e-dating for ginger widows website and see the same baby and go, haha, yes, I know that baby. But aside from the ha-has, another big aspect of memes in this era was the wow factor. There was much more awe at the effort someone would put in for a simple goofy occurrence. Such as all your base are belong to us, a meme already based on the funny localization of Zero Wing, but came with it a wow factor when it was remixed into an utter banger. There was a much deeper love for people who showed passion, even if by today's standards they're kind of rough and a little cringe. It was the knowledge that someone put in the time and effort that granted more awe. You couldn't just scroll Twitter and see an independent animator make the most beautiful scene but then scroll again to a funny cat and not think about it. The load time for that single funny cat would have been minutes to hours long. That funny cat would have been as treasured as the Mona Lisa. Within Thomas Schatz's, don't laugh, theory of genre cycles, which is surprisingly applicable to the flow of meme culture, this would be called the experimental stage, where no rules are set in stone and people are feeling out what the genre actually is. There's no rules, no expectations, just funny little things you'd share around the worldly widened Webster. At the time, they definitely could never have predicted what memes would become. Except me, I was smart for my age. My mum told me so.
It's walking!
The start of the 2010s. The rear mob Obama has spawned. The internet had now evolved into a state that's starting to resemble what we understand it as today. Google had given a way to more effectively visit the sites you actually want to go on, which allowed for some big players to start forming. For instance, YouTube, Facebook, and MySpace. You'll never be forgotten for as long as I draw breath, Tom MySpace. And these websites competed today had vastly different cultures associated with them. Facebook wasn't a place for relatives to dox you as it is now. Back then, it was actually hip and cool and a place for where all the youngsters would hang out. And YouTube wasn't a slop farm with creators selling their souls to an unfeeling algorithm. It was just a place where you posted videos. Not for any monetary reasons, not even for popularity reasons. The concept of a YouTuber wouldn't be a thing till the Smosh era. A lot of the content was rough, but had a lot of soul. There was no trying to make the most eye-catching thumbnail or the most attention-grabbing first 30 seconds. It was just, hey, I made a cool thing, check it out. And memes at the time were reflective of this more innocent and fresh nature of the internet. You had a fat man in his room lip-syncing to a song and doing a silly dance. An independent songwriter talking about the plight of the black man, but the title is funny so it's laughed at. A chubby Korean man singing silly words and being sexually suggestive. A Pop-Tart cat shitting rainbows and flying through space. A panda sneezing, and whatever the fox said. Additionally, we'd see the start of relatable memes, with the likes of the Rage comics. You had a set of faces, such as the troll face, the Me Gusta face, the Far face, and many others, to make all kinds of relatable scenarios to share online, without the need of any artistic skill. This era in the Shat's genre cycle is the classical era, where rules are settled in, and excitement is at an all-time high. At this point, people knew there was something more to it. This wasn't just Internet Funny Moments number 17. It was something special. It was memes. The word was now more widely used in pop culture, and caught the eye of the capitalists. Mainstream media would try to capitalize on it, yet all the attempts would feel forced and hollow. Something just felt wrong when they did it. I have a theory, a gay theory, as to why this feeling occurs. Why mainstream media could never truly capitalize on memes. It's because memes aren't developed within the requirement of our capitalistic structures. For films or games, you needed capital, needed studios, investment. Memes, on the other hand, are completely anarchic in nature. Anyone can make a meme, and it's exactly that which draws us to it. It's only as popular as people feel like sharing it. You can't do an advertising campaign for memes. It's small nuggets of art and culture by the people, for the people. But this was still just the beginning of memes. As we got settled into the idea of what a meme was, as its initial novelty wears off, cynicism grows, and thus, evolution must occur. It is then unfortunate that the world ended in 2012, so we wouldn't see how memes would develop. Luckily, I'm really fucking smart, and have calculated perfectly in my massive brain what the trajectories of memes would have been like after 2012. It's now the mid to late 2010s. Things are bad. The peak of comedy is saying the N-word, and morals are being dictated by Leafy and Keemstar. The internet as well was starting to head in a less savoury direction. Big players were starting to buy out or strangle the market. Facebook had basically won on the social media front, getting Instagram and shooting MySpace in a back alley. And Google had become the only search engine in the eyes of the public. And the next big plan was making you the product for advertisers. This pigeonholing of everyone into 4 to 6 major websites instead of the hundreds of forums like in the past made the internet less of a place where you could connect to anyone around the world, to a place where we're all forced together. And YouTube, a central location for meme culture, had taken a big shift. There was now such thing as YouTubers. I know, fucking gross, right? YouTubers relied on YouTube ad revenue to make money, giving them profit incentive to keep you watching. Which is good because artists deserve to get paid, but also bad because it incentivizes certain types of content to maximize revenue. Yet as YouTube itself ran into problem after problem after problem, they couldn't just rely on YouTube for income, leading to other avenues like sponsorships or Patreon. For instance, patreon.com/TheRadChad. I bring this up because I could really do with some money, please. Because of the profit incentive, the simple passion to put things out there was diluted by the need to be successful. As Buddha said, "You need money and bitches and fame to be happy in life." I, of course, don't let this affect me, nor does it influence my decision to tell you you can support me at Shats calls this the parody stage of the genre cycle, where people pick apart what the genre is. Usually in a satirical way, but for memes, it was more in a way where we became conscious of the flow of memes and set their rules. We were now more critical, more keyed into meme quality, and most importantly, this era invented the concept of meme death. And now, of course, trends fizzle out. Oh my god, you're wearing denim jean jacket? That's so 2008. But meme death was a stronger force, an eventuality you'd know was coming even when a meme started. There was now a stronger desire to keep memes out of the hands of those in power. We'd even see memes fighting back against corporations trying to make memes of their own. So there was a silent understanding that memes had a shelf life. When they got too widespread, they were dead. Memes were no longer a silly thing shared because you wanted to haha or wow. Now, if you wanted to be in on the meme, you had to be fast. You could see this desire to keep memes out of powerful hands with PewDiePie's meme review and Lessons in Meme Culture, who also just makes up memes now. Like, what the fuck is this? A sentiment quickly grew that when either covered a meme, it was dead. I believe this idea of meme death happened around Ugandan Knuckles and Who Toucha My Spaghetti. Both exited the simple haha factor and were more heavily scrutinized as memes that got too popular, that died. This era was also when memes split off into two notable camps. I dub these adaptive memes and symbolic memes. Adaptive memes are ones that encourage remixing, adding your own take to it. In this way, it inspires creativity. The first notable adaptive meme I can think of in this era is We Are Number One, where in 2016, creators would recreate the song with different rules and edits, such as We Are Number One but Robbie has schizophrenia, or We Are Number One but the video constantly zooms in to various things. Symbolic memes aren't as built upon either a haha or wow factor. Instead, they are used as symbolism for relatability and especially ideals. Things like Pepe, which would be co-opted by 4chan, or Wojaks, which developed into the most obnoxious images you've ever seen. And especially that fucking Chad image. God, anyone who uses this should be put on a list. But before we move on to the final era in meme history, we need to mention the vine-shaped lump in all our throats. Its short life had long-lasting impacts on the intertwining web. It focused on short-form content, small videos of usually comedic nature. It was less of a commitment to watch them. They grabbed your attention quickly. You could just keep scrolling forever and ever. And they did really well on YouTube. Just get a whole bunch into a compilation and re-upload them. Vine really was a neat idea. It's a shame it ended in 2017. Now we don't see short videos anymore. Finally, we reach the 2020s. Suddenly, every major historical event happened at once, and the internet has reached a cumulative point. Those major websites have won capitalism. They have ingrained themselves in our minds and lives to the point where many of us can't imagine a life without them. You could do absolutely everything in your power to make them as horrid as possible, and people would still use. Oh, hey, would you look at that? It is a given for these websites that we use them in some capacity. Even more so after the iconic worldwide case of the sniffles. The sneezing crisis made the only way to stay connected to those we care about or meet new people be the internet, which is a problem because these websites aren't built like those in the early 2000s. They aren't just places for you to go. They have incredible profit incentive to keep your attention for as long as possible. Imagine you are Mr. Google or Mr. Meta or not Elon Musk. Boy ain't got a thought in his whole damn head. Your goal is to have people engage as much as possible so you can push as many ads as possible. This ethos is what molds the internet of today. The first notable way this molds it is echo chambers. But when you hear that, you're like, oh yeah, that's how bad people come to be. Glad I'm not in one of those. But you are a fool. Yes, there are severe cases like the time Facebook targeted vulnerable people to radicalize them, but the principle of echo chambers applies to us all on the internet. You'd think that everyone being on the same website, you'd have more variety in what you see, but in reality, these sites have perfectly crafted algorithms to give you content that appeals to you, that keeps you watching as long as possible, including content that is anti the site you're on. Hey YouTube, fuck you! See, they don't care. This problem isn't unique to the modern day, but has just gotten worse over time. And this is reflective in the leeches of the algorithms, online content creators. You see, with the incentive of big money on the table, there becomes a type of creator who isn't just here for the sake of creating with any ounce of passion. They're just here to make as much money as possible. They used to be simply cringe, funny to laugh at, those prank channels that go too far, or those 3 AM videos, but now they're optimized. The perfectly pitched bright colors in the thumbnail, the attention-grabbing concepts with hollow payoff, the speed of the video that's just enough to keep your attention. Optimization is always the end result of capitalism. It doesn't matter if it's bad for people, just as long as it increases the profit threshold that much more. It's like when food manufacturers add sugar to things that don't need it. This type of content in the academic world is known as slop. It is without purpose other than your consumption, produced with maximum efficiency and appeal, and skimping on any soul or purpose. But it isn't sloppy enough, said capitalism. You remember Vine? Well, yeah, I don't need a segue. TikTok and its consequences have been a disaster for the human race. Short-form content like TikTok, YouTube Shorts, and Instagram Reels are the peak of optimization for user retention. Make something that's short enough it doesn't feel like a commitment, and then when it's done, you instantly serve them something new. It's been shown that this has irreversibly fucked our attention spans, and they don't function well as pieces of art. You cannot contain a cohesive moving point in a minute, nor are you incentivized to engage with anything you watch because it moves on to the next thing so quickly. But, you say in your slutty voice, aren't memes short? Why are you bringing up memes? Oh yeah! The point of the video! Memes are small, yes, compact nuggets of art and culture, but memes weren't made to just be consumed. Memes are connection. They're us building off one another, like running jokes shared amongst many. Memes are adoration for the effort of others. Memes are reflection. Memes are us. I suppose the difference is, and why I didn't even mention memes in the 2020s till now, it's because we don't really think about them. They just happen now. I had this horrifying realization. The last meme that had significant connection like memes used to was fucking Morbius. But is it a surprise we don't give thought to it anymore? Everything on the internet is vying for our attention. Everything is moving to something else as fast as possible. I don't think memes are fully dead. We still see good, soulful memes within smaller communities. There's much I have chuckled at in the Guilty Gear community, and I'm happy that I was a part of it. But these communities don't have places for themselves. We're all forced onto the same platforms. We used to have choice. We had the choice of where we'd be on the internet. We got to choose what we interacted with. Heck, we had the choice to engage with the internet at all. But now we don't really have a choice. You have to be here, consuming your share of the slop. It's scary how memes reflect us. Because as I look around today, I see memes created by AI. Soulless art created by no one and churned out infinitely. Then I look back and see the moment of Stephen Carl's death is thanks to the people who found joy in remixing We Are Number One, the building off one another and coming together to mourn a treasured human life. I can't say memes were ever good, but they've always reflected us, the world we live in, and I don't like what I see in the reflection.